Hey, Ross, welcome to the live stream here. We're just getting started here. Let me go ahead and turn the music down a little bit here. Just let me know if I need to turn it down some more on the music there. All right, I think we're about ready to get started here. Bitcoin getting a little bit of a shallow pullback right now. All right, let me go ahead and I was looking at the 5-minute chart, but let me zoom out here, daily chart. Just a small little tisbit, a little scratch here. Bitcoin actually down about 0.5%. We did see Bitcoin actually at the same time go up to $81,200 here. So still making higher highs on the daily time frame here. Not as high as what we saw back here in May when we saw Bitcoin at 82,800, but we're getting close to it. I want to see Bitcoin actually hit 82,800 to validate that we have the ability to climb back up to what we were doing here in May, and actually change the structure of the market here from being bearish and making lower highs to actually starting to make higher highs again here in the beginning of a bull market. Okay. I need to see that. I need to see Bitcoin get up to like 83K, 84K. And that's just enough to like challenge the bears who are still thinking that we're going to probably make a lower high here. If we don't, if we don't go past 82,800, then the bears are going to say that what we did here was still technically a lower high compared to what we did in May, which was then a lower high compared to what we did here in January, which of course was then lower highs compared to what we did in October, November, and December, right? So let's try to challenge the bears, the Bitcoin bears, get them to shut up for once. That we actually might be seeing the end of a bear market here and the beginning of a bull market by getting above 83K. I would like to see that. I don't care if we go up to like 83, 84K and then come back down to like 70K. It breathes life and hope into the market as far as I'm seeing here, if we can get back up to like 83, 84K. Because it's like, hey, guys, we did it before in May and we did it here in August. We could probably do it again later on in the future. Bitcoin at 83K, 84K should not be an issue for us. If we can actually do that this month, that'd be great. Or we might be able to do it next month. That's okay as well. I think what we have going for us here is we do got the Clarity Act, which could be voted on and pass in the middle of September when Congress comes back from their vacation, when the Senate is back in session again. That's what we're hoping for. And I think that hopium is starting to show up in the markets right now. And that's why we're seeing Bitcoin at 78K right now. Okay. All right. I see Diana came into the YouTube chat to say hi. Hello, Diana. How are you? Good to see you in the chat here. Let me see. We got Kelavos here on TikTok. Hello to you. I know you. I've seen you on the live streams as well here on TikTok. And so far, we're just listening to me talk about Bitcoin here. Let me get a swig of water here. I did a little bit of talking there. But we're not done talking about Bitcoin yet. We will talk about some of the other cryptocurrencies out there and possibly getting into a trade today if we can. How about that, right? We will try to do a trade here on AlphaX decentralized exchange, if possible. If I see something good, we'll try to get into a trade here. All right, but yeah, we're looking at Bitcoin right now. I'm gonna throw in the VRVP indicators just to make things a little bit more understandable as far as like levels to look for here. If Bitcoin is not gonna get past 83, 84K, and this ends up being a lower high, what do we have for levels to look out below? Well, there's a high volume node here at 77K, which is not too far off from where we are right now, about 1,000 points below us, 77,300. You got a little bit of a bump there in the VRVP indicator. More support could be here at the value area high at 74K. We know 74K is where we did some sideways trading action back in May before we started dumping in June, okay? So 74K should be an area where we want to defend that, you know, for the bulls that are trying to defend Bitcoin here. We want to stay above 74K, maybe make a higher low there and then bounce off to higher prices, okay? Don't give the bears an opportunity to see 60K again, okay? But if we do drop below that, there are some more high volume nodes here. Something here at 71K. And then, of course, we got the 200-day moving average at 69,100. That's that red line right there. That should be support, I would believe, right? And then it's also an awesome number to like buy your Bitcoin, right? I think anybody that has the opportunity to buy Bitcoin at 69,420 bucks, they know, right? If you know, you know. Okay, that's a great number to buy Bitcoin. I think you'll be very blessed and fortunate if you were able to buy Bitcoin at that number there. But yeah, that's right where that 200-day moving average is at. You know, all kidding aside, you got the 200-day moving average right at 69,170. So if you want to put a limit order in there for a buy, that could be another idea here where we drop down to that red line and then we get a bounce off the 200-day moving average and use it as support instead of resistance. Because look, we have seen this red line act as resistance back here in May. And I mean, we didn't really get up to that red line all throughout the last year here. We actually lost that red line, the 200-day moving average here on November 3rd. And that was like the beginning of the bear market. This is when I was like, guys, I think we're going to be in a bear market here. Okay. Especially when Bitcoin dropped down and then it tried to come back up to it again and couldn't really. Then I was like, oh yeah, for sure. We're definitely going into a bear market. This is not good. And then, of course, all throughout November was bad for Bitcoin. But, you know, that was history, right? And the 200-day moving average. I think, you know, if we do drop down to the 200-day moving average, we should stay above it. If we're going to beginning the bull market, we got to stay above the 200-day moving average. We got to use this as support, not as, you know, resistance. And we can't just lose it in one day either. Because if we slice right through that red line and we don't actually get above it, then guess what? The bears are going to say this was just a dead cat bounce, right? A fake rally, okay? You know, driven by the Trump administration and their hopes to like try to prop up the cryptocurrency market. And we don't want to hear that. Do we really want to hear that? We don't really want to hear that. So I think stay above the 200 moving average, stay above 69K. If you're able to buy Bitcoin at 69K, you also try to see if you can do that. Not financial advice, guys. Not financial advice, but 69K, 69,420 if you can. Should be a good area to buy Bitcoin. In my opinion, just using moving averages here. But it is also an area where we got high volume. We got a little bit of high volume node here at like 70 and then also 71K. If we're going to drop down to that level. If we are. And there's no guarantee that we are going to do that. Okay. I am now going to draw a Fibonacci here for you guys. Let me get rid of the VRVP indicator here. Because we did something here, right? If we're going to count this as a swing low to swing high, we got probably some levels to look for here. And I'm going to draw that from 81,300. Was that the high that we got for today? Let me just double check that real quick here. Yeah, we got the 81,265. And then 62K was where we were at about a week ago before Donald Trump and the Trump administration basically started putting regulations or putting useful regulations with the SEC and saying that they're going to try to start making rules for uh, for crypto and for institutions that want to get involved in crypto before the Clarity Act even gets passed. So, anyways, with that being said, uh, we do have levels to look for. If we're going to pull back on Bitcoin, you got the 786 at 77K. I already mentioned this. That was a high volume node. But let me go ahead and just turn on the VRVP indicator one more time here. You see that there's high volume node here at 77K. If you can see that, right? You got the little bit of bump here at 77K. And then we got the value area high near 74K, which is where that golden pocket's at. So it's like the Fibonacci is kind of agreeing with the volume nodes here on the VRVP indicator. Okay. And I just think, maybe we might get a shallow pullback here down to 77K. We might go down another 1,000 points here in Bitcoin. And then hopefully we can get a bounce if we're going to be extremely bullish here on Bitcoin. That is a nice, healthy pullback. If not, we could get even more healthier pullback by coming down to the 618.65 golden pocket at 74K. That would be a nice area to bounce off as well. Bouncing off the value area high and also bouncing off that golden pocket there. Okay, so be on the lookout for those numbers there, 77 and 74. If you're looking for some cheaper Bitcoin here. And of course, for those who are really looking for some deep, discount Bitcoin, 69K, right near that 0.382 and that 200-day moving average is also areas to look for Bitcoin. Now, to the upside, right? And I'm over here talking about the downside. But if this is a healthy pullback and we're on our way up to higher prices here for Bitcoin, we do got a 1272 here at 86K and then a 1618 at 92,900 to pay attention to. That might be levels to look for if we're going to continue being bullish and have this surprise relief rally. Some call it the disbelief rally. Okay, if we're going to get a disbelief rally and actually go up to 90K, you got the 1618 saying that that's an area where we might want to take some profits. Okay. So let me see. I'm going to zoom out here some more, get some more data, because I'm pretty sure there's some volume nodes up there at that 86, 87K level. Look at this. Here on the VRVP indicator, we do got high volume node here at like 87K, right above that 1272 at 86K. So I think 86, 87K should be the target once we get above 83, 84K. 86, 87 should be the next target to look for, okay? That's just using the VRVP and also using the Fibonacci extension at 127 is at 86K. All right. Other than that, yeah, I think Bitcoin is getting a healthy pullback, shallow pullback, and we'll see how it handles itself tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the PCE inflation data coming out. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick here. Usually it's on Forex Factory. Let me go into my crypto bubbles here, but Forex Factory. If I pull that up real quick here, this is where I get the information for what could affect the markets for tomorrow and the rest of the week here. If I go into tomorrow, which is Wednesday, August 26th here, you can see that we have core PCE inflation coming in at 8:30 a.m. That's going to probably cause some volatility in the market, so be on the lookout for that. For those who are in trades right now, your trade might be a winning trade, or it might, if it is winning, it might start losing on you, depending upon what's going on with inflation. But they're expecting inflation to come in at 0.2%. That's the forecast number right there. Last month it was at 0.1%. This is just on a month-to-month basis. Let's see. Yeah. So we'll see if they actually have the PCE inflation come in as expected or lower than expected. We actually want that number to be lower than 0.2. We don't want any inflation, because with inflation, that's when the Federal Reserve starts talking tough on inflation and they start trying to talk about the idea of raising interest rates on us, which we don't want that to happen. And let me see. I just got to do some stuff here with TikTok. Every time I do live streams on their TikTok software, they always try to restrict me because they think I'm being boring or something like that. Just showing you guys charts here. I guess if I was dancing in front of the camera or, I don't know, showing a cute cat or something, I need to go get a cute cat. Maybe they would leave me alone and actually let the live stream, not restrict the live stream, but they're restricting the live stream because they're thinking like I'm showing you guys like unoriginal, boring content here by looking at the charts, which this is not unoriginal or boring, but that's what they gripe about here on TikTok. All right. Anyways, Bitcoin $78,400 and still bleeding off. Let's get into the daily, the day trading time frames here. We'll look into the 1 hour chart here. This is the chart where I like to figure out what might come next here for Bitcoin. Looks like on the 1 hour chart here, we have a point of control, a good support zone here at 77K. I already mentioned 77K is what we should be looking for Bitcoin here. We were trading at that, all throughout this past weekend here at 77K before we got some more lift off here on Monday for higher prices to 81K. So I'm thinking like if we're going to continue pulling back here, 77K is where we might want to look for longs here on Bitcoin. Right now, shorting was a good idea earlier this morning, or at least like last night, right? We saw Bitcoin get up to 81,200, and then later on that night we saw it get up to like 80,800. So like, what is going on here? Why is my TikTok live getting disconnected here? Oh my god! Every time I try to do a TikTok live, I don't know what I need to do to make TikTok like things and actually send people my way, because the only way I can do it seems like TikTok likes it when I go on the phone, but then when I use their program that they work their butts off creating and I use it, then they start saying nope, we're not going to send people your way, we're going to restrict your live stream because of the content that you're showing here. Anyways, yeah, 1 hour time frame. I would expect support here at 77K. Then we got the high volume node here at 79K. It's about $400 below where we're at right now. I mean, $400 above where we're at right now. That could be resistance. So we might get ping pong between 79K and 77,200. And you can see like there's a gap in the VRVP here. So we might, flash crash down the I say flash crash, but we might take a steep drop and do it in a hurry down to 77K, then get a bounce, and then we could be back in a hurry going up to 79K in no time here. So I'm thinking I should put a long in for $77,200. And then where would I put the stop loss? I'd probably put the stop loss right below that high volume node there. Maybe at 76,500 maybe. I like to keep the stop loss relatively tight, but I think, yeah, that should be the control. And the stop loss should be like, $500 or maybe $700 below that. It gives me like $700. It gives me like a 1% move. So if I measure this out real quick, let's look at this, right? If we're going to go and enter near the point of control here, we're going to measure the risk-reward ratio. We're going to put the stop loss at 76,500 roughly. It's about a 0.95% stop loss if we get in at 76,300 here. And then I would try to take profit. Where would I take profit? Well, I might want to take profit target at 79K. And now the risk-reward ratio is about 2.3. That's decent. Would be better if it was 3.0 on the risk reward. But we could also take more profit if we get up to 81K again. That's about a 5.0 risk reward ratio. That's better than 3. That's a really good trade to take if you're able to get into it. I think I want to do this here, and I want to do this here on one of my favorite exchanges I like to use, and that would be KCEX Decentralized Exchange. I'm going to go ahead and put that in here on the KCEX account here. So here we are. We got Bitcoin currently trading at 78,500 here on KCEX. We got to figure out, I didn't figure out what kind of leverage I want to use. I could do 100x leverage, right? And if I did 100x leverage, let me go back to this, right? If I did 100x leverage, that 0.95% would mean I would lose 95%, almost the entire position of whatever margin I use for this trade. If I dial it down to like 50x leverage, then I'll lose about maybe only about 50%, maybe a little bit less than 50% of my margin. And all right, so if I did 50x leverage, then that 4.8, right? It's almost like maybe like a 240% gain. Let me just do the calculator here real quick here. So, I'm not sure if my TikTok guys are able to see the calculator here, but my YouTube guys should be able to see it. 4.8 with 50x leverage. Yeah, it'd be about 240% gain. My math was not off. I actually did that pretty good in my head there. And with 50x leverage, the stop loss, right? 0.95 times 50x. It'd be about 47% loss. So I wouldn't lose all my margin, but I would lose almost half of it. I think I'm gonna do a 50x leverage trade on this one. 100x would be ridiculous. You probably could get away with 100x, but you just know you're gonna lose all your margin there. So anyway, let's go back to that AlphaX platform here. If you guys want to start trading on AlphaX, the link is in the description to this video here that you're watching here on YouTube. And I'll have to show you my TikTok guys where they can get it as well. But let's see. Let's plan on doing 50x leverage. And my margin should be isolated. I don't want to do cross margin. You don't really want to do cross margin because it'll start dipping into your other positions to take money away from that. You don't want to do that. All right, 50x leverage. That's what we agreed upon. That's what we're going to try to do here. So the leverage there on the top right is 50x. Hopefully you guys are able to see that here on YouTube and TikTok. And we are going to try to do about like $100 a margin here if I can. All right. So if I lose out on this trade, I'll lose about roughly like 50 bucks. And we're going to calculate this by doing the TP stop loss here. You click on advance here to the right. And this is where you'll figure out, you got to pick out your trigger price. Right? What is the take profit? We're going to try to take profit at 80,800. Okay. So there you go. With 80,800, I'll be up about 144% with 50x leverage, and I'll be able to make $143 on this trade. With the stop loss, we said the stop loss was going to be what, 73,600. Let's go ahead and put that in there. 73,600. Oh wait, no. When I say 73, no, not 73,600. That's what I read that wrong. 76,600. That's what I meant to say. 76,600. I'm looking at this like, wait, that doesn't make sense. I'm gonna lose way too much money on that. 76,600. All right. Oh wow. So I think is this with 50x leverage? It looks like I would probably get liquidated before I get stopped out. That does not make sense. This is with a 50x leverage long. Let me just double check my work here. 76,600. Oh, that's right. We didn't even put in the entry price. That's what I'm messing up here. So this is with a market order. We're trying to do a limit order. So I messed up there. I got to put in a limit order there. Okay. We want to get in at 77K, right? 77,300. So this we got to redo things here, but about $100 a margin, I think, is what we were asking for. Do the take profit stop loss one more time here. At least you guys get to see me do it all over again here. Okay, 80,800 is what we were going to try to get in at. So it'd be a little bit more than the P&L. The profit would be about 224 bucks if you actually get up to that level there. And then the stop loss, we said 76,600, right? There we go. That makes a lot more sense. So I'll lose about $44. Just want to double check. Yeah, 76,600. That's where I'm going to put the stop loss. So you lose about $44 in this trade, or you could make $220 in this trade. That's a good risk reward ratio. I think that's about 4 to 1, right? A little bit more than 4 to 1. So I like it. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. Now this is the part that sucks about trading sometimes, is that you got to be patient and wait for your trade to get in. I mean, we could try to let's try to buy and do something right now. Let me see what the open order should be. Open order there, right? Where's my open order? Oh my God. I did click that I wanted to do that trade, right? All right. Let's see, order history. Not order history. I don't want to do order history. I'm looking for open orders here. Yeah, I guess it's not showing up right now for some reason. But I'm pretty sure we did put in that trade. Let me... You know, maybe I didn't... Did I click open long? All right, there we go. That's right. So just double checking the work. I put in the... So I put it in. I didn't actually click open long. But here we go. We got the order price here at 77,300. We're going to take profit at 80,800. Stop loss is 76,600. We're using about $99 worth of margin here. Now click open long. There we go. All right, so I didn't click open long. So all I did was I did this take profit stop loss thing here and confirmed everything, but I forgot to click open long. You make sure you click the green button to open up the long there. All right, so we got the long ready to go here. Once again, we can double check our work. We're doing a 50x leverage long here on Bitcoin. And we want to get in at 77,300 if we're able to do so here. Take profit at 80,800. Stop loss at 76,600. You double check that one more time here. And yeah. Just want to double check. Limit order 77,300 is what we're trying to do here. Okay. So that's the trading platform Alpha X. And one of the reasons why I like Alpha X, and you guys might want to look into this yourself here, Alpha X is a decentralized exchange. So you are working with an exchange that is not run by any particular entity. You don't have to worry about them getting in trouble with, or maybe, I mean, maybe there might be a possibility that they can get in trouble. But anyways, the reason why I like Alpha X, right, is because they have 0 fees on their futures and 0 fees on spot trading. Let me go ahead and show that to you guys right here. Here's the fees here for Alpha X. There you go. 0% on the maker, 0% on the taker for futures. 0% here if you're doing traditional finance. You can also trade stocks here as well. And then you can also trade spot cryptocurrencies here. 0% on the maker, 0% on the taker. Now, how long is this going to last? I talked to one of the guys on Alpha X, and they said that this might be a month or two before they bring it back to the normal rates. And the normal rates aren't too bad either, right? If you're doing spot bags, if you're doing dollar cost averaging into your cryptocurrencies, it's only going to be about 0.1%. On the maker and 0.1% on the taker. And then for the futures traders, the leverage day traders out there, it's going to be about 0.02% and 0.05%. But right now, you can take advantage of this right now for 0% on the maker and taker fees here on Alpha X. That's why I like trading on Alpha X right now. That's why you see me on Alpha X trading right now, okay? For my TikTok, guys, if you want to get involved on Alpha X, the link is going to be here. You're going to have to go on to the Meet Damien TikTok. Don't forget to follow me if you haven't done so already. Click on that Linktree link there, okay? And it's going to take you to the Meet Damien Linktree. And then, of course, you got the links here to look at. Alpha X is right there. It's your leading decentralized perp for 100% on-chain and no KYC. All you had to do was get started with a phone number or an email to get started with them. And I just showed you there, like, the fees. There's no fees. I mean, there are no fees here on Alpha X. at this moment. At this moment. So if you guys are going to be trading and doing a lot of trading, or even just, adding to your spot bags and dollar cost averaging, why not just not pay fees and add to your spot bags? And of course, for you traders out there, why are you paying fees when you can not pay fees? At least for the next month or two, and then we'll see. We'll see if they decide to continue that promotional offer, if they're gonna start charging. But even if they start charging 0.02% and 0.05 is not really that bad. Okay, I believe other exchanges are charging more than that. So, anyways, let's get back to Bitcoin here. So yeah, I think we should be looking for 77,300. That's a support level. It's a level that we were trading at here on Sunday, Saturday, this weekend. We were trading at that level, and it should be support. It should be support is what I'm seeing here, because you got the volume profile indicator showing you that it should be support. I'm pretty sure there might be some moving averages at that level too. Let's look at should I look at the 4-hour or maybe the 15-minute? It might be in the 15-minute. No, yeah, the moving averages are above us here on the 15-minute, 30-minute, 30-minute. Yeah, not really 30-minute. 2-hour maybe. Okay, yeah, maybe 2-hour has 50 moving average at 77,900. But anyways, let me go back to my day trading time frame. I like the 1-hour chart. I want to see, are we gonna go up or down? Is this downtrend that we're in gonna continue here with Bitcoin, or is something different gonna happen here? Let's look at one of the momentum indicators that gives me direction here, and that's the market cipher B indicator here. You see that the momentum is the blue stuff here, and it's been going down ever since earlier this morning at 2 a.m. Eastern time. We've been seeing the momentum go down. It was enough for us to see the money flow get dragged down with it. Money flow was in the green, and then it went red. Had a little bit of buy-sell stuff going on here at 11 a.m. But the red sell dot came back in again and sent us down lower. And we got another red sell dot. We had a little buy here, a little iffy, biffy, like, are we going to go up? Around 6 p.m. A couple hours ago, there was a green buy dot, but then that got canceled out by this red sell dot. So momentum is still going down, not looking good here for higher prices here on Bitcoin. So I think, we could see 77,000 later on tonight, maybe going into tomorrow. And if that inflation PCE report is not that bad, then maybe we might get a bounce tomorrow morning. We got Sir Naptime in the chat. Here on YouTube says every moving average should be below. Yeah, that's what I see here for the most part. On the higher time frames, of course, yeah. So here on the 1 hour time frame, we're just looking at the market cipher B. Look at the momentum. This gives me ideas like what to expect later on. I think later on tonight we should be creeping on down to low prices. Now, if you really want to get into a trade right now, if you had to, like, say, Damon, we need to trade right now, I need a long or a short right now, I'll probably say let's go short. Yeah, doesn't mean that, I want to short right now at this very moment, but if you put a gun to my head and you said we got to do a trade right now, and it's got to be a winning trade by the end of tonight, I'll say, let's go short. I think Bitcoin's on its way down. All right, other momentum indicator is this MEXC indicator, and the selling pressure has been here. This red stuff here has been here since early this morning, around like 3 a.m. is when we saw the MACD cross over to the downside on the 1 hour time frame, and selling pressure come in, try to die off a little bit, then increase again, trying to die off a little bit, and yeah, we're not really we're not getting any relief here for higher prices here. Okay, so yeah, that's it's no bueno here. All right, and then let's see. Is there any bullish divergence showing up here on the RSI? You got the RSI indicator, this red line right here. Low, lower low. Not really, because you're making lows and lower lows here on the price, so you're not getting any bullish divergence at this moment on the 1 hour time frame. Might be different on the 15-minute time frame. Let's see if the 15-minute time frame showing anything here. I'm getting rid of the VRPP indicator so it doesn't overwhelm you guys. But I kind of see something here in the 15-minute time frame here where you got a low and then a lower low on the price. And then I see here on the RSI indicator, we got a low here at 28, and then here at 29. So ever so slightly higher low, but barely. Trying to create some bullish divergence, but I don't think it's strong enough right now. I think we could still make another lower low here on the price of Bitcoin, and then hopefully make a higher low here on the RSI. And if we see that, then we know we are getting bullish divergence, and the bulls are trying to stop the bleeding. And I just think, from what I'm seeing here, I think the bleeding will stop when we hit like 77K this area. Hopefully these people won't sell on us, and we can actually get a bounce off of 77,000. Anywhere between 77,000 and 77,300, somewhere in this area is where I think we could get some support. This would be a good area for a long, in my opinion, here for Bitcoin. So if you guys are trading altcoins, which I know some of you guys do, you might have to wait until Bitcoin drops down to 77,300 for you to look at your own altcoin and figure out, all right, can I go long now on Bitcoin on my altcoin? Because Bitcoin will most likely drag the rest of the altcoins down with it. As Bitcoin is going down, so does the altcoins, right? We all seen that. Bitcoin kind of like leads the pack here and tells us where we're going. So if Bitcoin is going to go down, then I would expect all these altcoins to go down. So, you might wonder, like, why aren't you looking at like Solana or Sui or XRP or AVAX or what on these other altcoins, Hyperliquid? And it's like, well, for the most part, they all follow the leader, and the leader is Bitcoin. If Bitcoin wants to go down, then these altcoins are most likely going to go down with it. All right. I could try looking at crypto bubbles. There might be somebody that's bucking the trend right now. Let me just look at crypto bubbles real quick here. But if I go to crypto bubbles, who is actually making money today? In the top 100 cryptocurrencies, looks like Rain is up. Rain is bucking the trend. SPX 6900 is also bucking the trend, up 11%. Stacks is up 12.7%, bucking the trend. And then we got ZRO bucking the trend as well, up 8.2%. So very few of them. Out of the top 100 coins here, I only see like 1, 2, 3, 4 of them that are actually in the green and doing something better than dropping down and going into the red. So I think it makes a lot of sense to just watch Bitcoin and follow along with it. And then once Bitcoin stops going down, then we can actually try to maybe enter a long on one of these other altcoins. Now, guys, let me know if there's an altcoin you want to take a look at. I'm a little bit curious right now. I want to know why Rain's up 24% while the rest of the cryptocurrency market is down in the red today. So I think that would be one of the first ones I want to look at until I get a request from you guys. Let me go ahead and take a look at Rain here for you. We can always look at Bitcoin again one more time here, but let's look at something different in the meantime here. We'll look at Rain. Looks like it's trading here on MEXC Exchange. And let me zoom out to the daily time frame. Oh, I have done some chart work on this one. Yeah, got a Fibonacci extension that I drew here. Looks like we're trading at 0.018 pennies here on Rain. Rain went up on Tuesday, up 22% is what I'm showing here on MEXC Exchange. And as I'm zooming in, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. It looks like, we caught the bids here last week after the Trump administration gave us some more rules and clarity on what the rules are going to be for these cryptocurrencies. They did that last week, even without passing the Clarity Act. I think that's why some people got caught off guard here, because we didn't know that they were going to do that, but they did that anyways. But yeah, this thing, like, this Saturday Friday we had a top off. We went up 8%, then we dropped like 6.7% the next day on Saturday. Hell of a drop. Bounced off this, use the 50-day moving average, this green line as support, and then we decided to launch up here on Tuesday, right? Monday was also pretty decent too. We were up 6%, but Tuesday, all of a sudden, like, we're getting the launch right now. And let's see. I mean, I did have Fibonacci that I drew. This Fibonacci was, oh man, I think it was because of when we were looking at the target over here. I might have to redraw this, to be honest with you. I'm not sure why I have 1.4. I think 1.4. Oh, yeah, 1.4. Sorry, yeah, 0.014 was what we did here back in May, early in May. So I drew the Fibonacci over here down to what we're doing here in early May. And I don't know. I mean, the 1618 says 2 pennies. Did we actually hit 2 pennies today? We hit 0.194. So we almost hit that 1618. Using my previous Fibonacci analysis here. Let me get rid of that. Obviously, this was a bull flag that like played out to the upside, and then then we sold off here. Yeah, it looks like I'm just getting rid of some previous chart work, trying to clean things up here a little bit. But I think this is still valid here, right? I drew this impulse move, like the Fibonacci from 0.149 is where we topped out here in May 27th. And it came out with the targets here, 1272 at 0.017, and then a 1618 at 2 pennies here. And we literally almost hit 2 pennies earlier today. So that 1618 almost got hit, like maybe a little bit of front running there. So I think this is still valid here for targets. 0.017, that's we didn't really hit that. We just went right past it today and went right up to the 1618. Interesting stuff here. Do we got momentum to continue? I think we should. One of the momentum indicators is MACD. This is looking pretty healthy, right? You got green buying pressure here on rain on the daily time frame. And I mean, the buying pressure tried dying down here this weekend, only for it to then just start increasing today and yesterday. And I'm not seeing anything here that says that we're gonna just stop the party here. So we might actually hit 2 cents here on rain sooner rather than later. I would say maybe this week, around this week. And then let's see, we got momentum, all the momentum indicator. This is your blue stuff, is your momentum here, or at least I call it momentum. I mean, there's actually a name for it. It's like the fast wave, but we are looking at momentum is creeping up. And it's getting into overbought territory. These red horizontal bars is your overbought. You think of it like an RSI indicator. You are now playing with fire here, and you should be considering taking profits if you haven't done so already. Yeah, and maybe even entertaining the idea of a short. But you would start to think about maybe shorting. It doesn't mean that you have to short right now. But I mean, right now we had a green buy dot that came in on Monday. I would wait until we get a red sell dot above these horizontal bars and then try to short it. Because look, when you get a red sell dot around these horizontal bars, that's usually a good time to take a short and obviously take profit on any longs that you got. Okay, same thing like right over here as well, back here in May 31st. That was a good time to enter a short. Right now, I would say time to take profits, but we need to see that red sell dot for me to be like, yeah, I think we're justified. We're justified to take a short if we see that red sell dot there. You don't have that yet, so maybe this thing is going to climb up a little bit higher. And then, of course, the actual RSI indicator is showing overbought, but that doesn't mean that you can't stay overbought. Matter of fact, you need to stay overbought in order for you to continue going up to higher prices here. But you are RSI like 77.93. Anything above 70 is considered overbought for those who don't know. All right, guys, let's see if we get some likes here. We're lacking on the likes here for the YouTube stream. And let me go check up on my TikTok, guys. I know I've been doing a lot of talking there. King Louis says, is this market cipher? Yeah, that was market cipher that we were looking at for the indicator there. Let me just show you that indicator. If you're interested in adding it to your chart here, you go over here, make sure you're on TradingView. And the indicator, I have it saved in my favorites, but it's Market Cipher B by Welo Trades. Okay. But yeah, if you type in Market Cipher B, you get a bunch of Market Cipher B indicators here. But the one that I like using is the one by Welo Trades. And let me see if I wanted to show you a description of this indicator. If I go into where is it? The info here. Not settings. I want where is it? Can't really think of it. Where is it? Where is it? Oh no, it's not. It's not settings. I can't. I'm trying to think of where I get the description of the indicator here. I think I have to go back to the actual indicator here. If I go to the indicator here, all right, yeah, this is what I wanted. So the description of the indicator. If I do read more, you can read more about this market cipher B by Welo Trades indicator here. Okay. You get the wave trends, fast money, slow money, stochastic RSI. It tells you everything that you need to know about the indicator there. You can read that on your own time. I know there's a lot to read here. But of course, you got that there. And then, of course, you got, the description of the indicator right here. All right. So on your own time, you can read that. But this is one of my favorite indicators to have to judge what the direction of the asset might be doing next. So Nap Time says, I think if we want a healthier Bitcoin, we need to go sweep all the lows minimum and then another leg down. Oh man, another leg down. Why? Why do you want to see Bitcoin go down another leg down? Like down to what level? I have drawn a Fibonacci here already. I think if Bitcoin is going to be bullish and stay extremely bullish here, then I think the most you're going to get for a pullback is 77K. Your 786. But if it's going to be a more healthier correction, as Sir Naptime would say here, then maybe 74K. But a still deeper retracement, which really wouldn't, knock out the bullish thesis here, is if we could drop down to that red line there, that 200-day moving average, that 69K, sitting right near that 0.382 level there as well. I would like to see that. If I see that, I'm definitely adding more to my spot bags on Solana and Sui. I would like to add more to my spot bags if I see Bitcoin at 69K again. And yeah, of course, I mean, if we drop below 69K, I'm going to try to get some more crypto if we see Bitcoin at, 63, 60K, somewhere in that low 60s there. But I have this yellow line here because we did see that Bitcoin was doing bullish divergence, right? We knew that, or we were starting to see that this summer here. You can't really see here on the daily chart, but on the weekly chart for Bitcoin, you got your weekly bullish divergence where you're making higher lows here on the RSI and making lower lows on the price. Now, here's the thing. We're actually starting to make higher highs on the RSI as well. So we're making higher lows and also higher highs here on the RSI. This is like almost like trying to bottom out. Like I think we're starting to see the beginning of the bull market and the end of the bear market here. Let's see. Is this similar to what we had in 2022? In 2022, right? We had the bullish divergence showing up. Let me show you on the chart here. I might get rid of the moving averages so it doesn't look so cluttered there. But you got that lower low. We had a low here in June of 2022. And then another lower low, of course, in like November of 2022. That was like the lowest price you could get Bitcoin that year. But we were making a low here on the RSI and then a higher low here in November of 2022 on the RSI. And look what happened. Like, yeah, you were making low, higher low, high on the RSI. Higher high on the RSI. This is the weekly time frame. Just keep that in mind. And then blast off in January 2023. Might we be getting that blast off right now? Or are we probably going to get that blast off to higher levels here and higher prices later on this year? Maybe right after the Clarity Act gets voted on and passed. Now, we're expecting the Clarity Act to get voted on in September. That's what they said. September 15th. The Senate Majority Leader said that's when they're going to try to vote on it. What happens if they vote on it and it doesn't pass? What happens if it votes and they miss it by 1 vote? I think they need to have 60 votes to get it to pass. If they only get like 59, it doesn't pass. And then what? Then what happens to all this enthusiasm for Bitcoin and crypto? Could that be the reason why we see Bitcoin go down into the low 60s again? So we'll have to pay attention. You know, middle of next month, guys. The middle of September. It's like 2 or 3 weeks away. And we might see one or the other, where Bitcoin just continues on with the enthusiasm, and then we see 90K Bitcoin, and that's gonna suck for anybody who didn't buy Bitcoin at 60K or 70K. Or are we going to see the Clarity Act get rejected in September? Maybe we have to wait until October for them to vote on it again with enough votes. And maybe October is when we actually start launching up to higher prices and skyrocketing to new higher highs here for Bitcoin and crypto. And that would fit the narrative for the 4-year cycle, guys, that say we got to wait until October anyways for the 1-year bear market to play out on Bitcoin and crypto. That could be a possibility here. King Louis says, not the original market cipher. That's like 1,500 lifetime. Yeah, not the original market cipher, but I believe that one works very well and close to it. Okay. So I mean, you could pay an arm and a leg for market cipher B, or you could just get it here on TradingView and not pay an arm and leg and actually get it for free for now. And that's Welo Trades. That's the one that I use. It's up to you what you want to do there, but I think that one's worth trying to use. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I feel like it's very useful information there. This was trying to tell us here for Bitcoin, right? Green buy dot came in on August 17th last Monday. You got a green buy dot. And that was right before launch, because I think Bitcoin launched... It launched up, what? Oh, I'm sorry. This was in the weekly time frame. I need to get back in the daily time frame. I take that all back. You got a green buy dot here. Same thing, actually. No, green buy dot was August 17th here in the daily time frame. That was right before you got that big liftoff here on Wednesday when Bitcoin went up 7% and it hit 70K. You got the market cipher B telling you 2 days ahead of time to get into Bitcoin right there on August 17th. Before we had August 19th liftoff. But like, look what's going on right now, and I don't like this right now. This is a problem here. We got a red sell dot right now on the daily time frame for Bitcoin, telling us that we should be taking profit and looking for shorts here on Bitcoin. So there you go. I think market cipher B by Welo Trades is worth looking at. Worth getting some of your trading information from. But it makes sense for us to sell off and get a correction here on Bitcoin, don't you think? I mean, we've been overbought since last Wednesday. RSI at 73. We sort of hit like Friday at 85. RSI is still at 80 here. So maybe for those who are looking for shorts, maybe now's the time to look for a short. I just think we got support levels. I did show you guys support levels here. There's support at 77K and 74K. Let me just throw on the VRVP indicator so you can see that as well. We just lost a high volume node here at 78,900. There's some more support here at 77,300. This is where I'm trying to take a long on Bitcoin. Not so much volume here at 74K. This is just a Fibonacci number here. And of course, you got more support here at 69K. And I believe that's where the 200-day moving average is at too. Yep. Yeah, so we shall see if they're going to defend 77K or not. If not, I think 69 and like 72 is area to look for. Yes, Lauren A, thank you for reminding everybody to hit that like button. I know we can get more likes than that. So let's try to get some more likes here. All right. Let's see how my TikTok guys are doing over there. Yeah, TikTok is also restricting my live stream. Every time I go live on TikTok Studio, they always restrict my live stream here. It's all right. That's why we go back and forth between doing TikTok on the phone and then TikTok not on the phone. But TikTok not on the phone, it seems like I get punished here. Let me go back in that 1 hour time frame here for Bitcoin. So on a 1 hour time frame, you can see why I'm choosing 77K, right? You see that we got nice support level here at 77K. Point of control is there at 77K. But start losing 77K. Something here at like 72 and 74. I'm trying to think. Maybe I should enter a short on Bitcoin. What do you guys think? Should I try to enter a short right now? Because I'm expecting 77K at some point, but that might be later on tonight or tomorrow. I might not get filled until tonight or tomorrow. But if we're already seeing that Bitcoin is on its way down, let me see if I can create more of a case here to get into a short on Bitcoin. On the 1 hour time frame, what's going on here with the market cipher B indicator here? So yeah, momentum is down, but we're getting the green buy dots here every now and then. Doesn't mean that we're not going to continue going down, but every now and then you see buyers are starting to show up here. And the selling pressure is dying off here. It might die off just a little bit more. We might see Bitcoin actually get back up to 79K, only for it to then get sent down to lower levels again. So maybe shorting at 79K might make sense here. Zoom back into the chart here. Let's see. There is a 21 EMA at 79,100. And right now, at this moment, there is also a high volume node here at 78,900. 50 moving average is also at like 78,800. I'm just zooming out to get more data here. Now, when I zoom out and then I get the volume profile showing me data going all the way back to like Friday, you do got value area high at 79K. So I think that makes sense. 79K is where we should try to enter a short. So let's do that here on AlphaX, all right? We're going to try to do a short on 79K. Probably put the stop loss about 500, 600 points above that. Maybe above this last candle wick high here on the 1 hour time frame, 79,000. I think 79,600 should keep us in the trade and not have to risk too much. So here on AlphaX, once again, you can trade futures here for free. Take advantage of that until they decide to start charging. All right, so I'll show that to you guys afterwards. But we're going to get into another trade here. We're going to try to short 79K if we're able to. On the right here, I got the leverage set at 50x. And right now, Bitcoin... We are trading with Bitcoin, so Bitcoin at 78,830 here. I just want to check that one more time. All right, so here we go. Let's do a short here. We're looking for $79,000 Bitcoin to get short at that level. We're going to put in about $100 of margin there. Let's check the margin there. Yeah, okay. I got the margin at 295. I want it a little bit lower than that. If I need to, I could just type it in if I need to. All right, there we go. $98 of margin. That's good enough. All right, so there we go. All right, so now I'm going to click TP stop loss and click advance here. We're going to try to do a short. And what was the take profit target? 77,300. If I do that, P&L would be about $105. I can make $105 turning my $100 trade. I'll be up about 107%. And take stop loss is going to be about 79,600. I could lose $37 on this trade. Be down about 37%. I like that. That's acceptable to me. Go ahead and click confirm. And then, of course, make sure you actually open the short. Click on the red button there to the right. Just confirm your work here. 79K. Oh, man. Take profit. Yeah, take profit's going to be 77,300. And stop loss is going to be 79,600. There you go. Open the short. So now we got 2 orders in here. I'm just checking the work here. We got 2 open orders. We are going to try and short Bitcoin at 79K. And we're going to try to long it at 77,300 if we're able to. All right. So there you go. No positions as of yet because we are traders, but we're also patient here. We're going to wait for 79K if it's going to come up to that level there. All right, back to the charts. Guys, let me know if there's any requests. We do requests here as well. Crypto Cruz says he's ready to long. All right. I think I'm ready to long too. But I think we might have to wait for 77K though. I think we have to wait for 77K to actually find longs that are going to actually play out and not watch the thing bleed out and hit our stop losses here. I already did the reason behind that because you got this level here all throughout this week and we're at like 77K. So I think that's going to be support for now for the long. So we might see that later on tonight. We might drop down to that level, or maybe tomorrow morning we drop down to that level. But I think 77K is where we should be looking for longs. Right now, I'd be looking for shorts. Because Bitcoin has a value area high here at 79K. You also got some moving averages on the 1 hour time frame that can push you down as well. All right, let me get some water here, guys. All right. Crypto Crew says he's ready to long Intel. Is that a request for Intel? Because if so, I can look at Intel right now and we can see if it makes sense, or I can see if I think it makes sense to long Intel. You might already figure that out, that it might be ready to long, but I can take a look at it myself and see if I agree with you with longing it. Let me know if that's a request there. I mean, I'm probably gonna look at it anyways, but just figure I get a confirmation from you. Need to know here on TikTok says, how much capital are you going to go in with that 50X? So I did it with $100 of margin. So I needed like $100 of my own money to get into that trade. And that was the trading account has about like $9,000. And if I lose that trade, you saw I only lose about $37. You want to make sure that your the money that you lose on the trade is not going to be more than 1% of your account. So 1% of a $9,000 or $10,000 account, like 1% of $10,000 is $100. So I'm only going to lose $37 on that. It's well below the $100 that I plan on losing. So it's like probably like 0.03% is what I'm going to lose. Crypto Cruz does want to take a look at Intel, so let's go ahead and take a look at Intel for Crypto Cruz. INTC Yes, guys, I can look at stocks and crypto. I'm not just a one-trick pony here. I can do anything on TradingView. So if it's on TradingView and I can chart it, I will chart it for you. Looking at Intel right now, currently trading at $87.48 here. Crypto Cruise wants to enter a long. Doesn't seem like such a bad idea. I mean, Intel was as high as about $142 here on June 30th. 141 here on June 22nd. One would probably call that a double top there, and you got sent down the lower levels here. Now what? Now, I mean, you made a low, a high, but here, I mean, here you're possibly playing around with the idea of making a higher low. No more lower lows. You're actually making a higher low compared to what you did here on July 29th. Okay. I also got the VRVP indicator here, which I think is going to be useful here. Let's see what the levels to look for here. If there's any high volume nodes here on Intel. I got data going all the way back to like January earlier this year. The VRVP indicator is this heat map looking thing here off to the right. The green is the buys, the reds are the sells. You add them up together, you get these volume nodes here. This is the prices that people were actually buying and selling Intel at. There's a thick white line here. That's your value area high at $108.82. I would expect resistance at that level if we ever get up to that level there. To the bottom here, we do got a dark blue line. That is a point of control. That is actually the highest volume node here. A lot of support for Intel at 43 bucks, but I mean that was what Intel was at back here in like February and March earlier this year. We're almost like double in price from when we were in March. Intel was the place to be, huh? That was all that AI, artificial intelligence stuff, right? Intel makes computer chips, and I think some of the chips are used for AI as well as like just regular computers. So I guess business has been really good for Intel, right? Enough for it to more than double in price. It actually tripled in price from what it was doing here in March. Okay. But yeah, look at the VRVP indicator. VRVP indicator, this is your visual range volume profile indicator. A lot of support here at that blue line, and there's more support at that other white line below us at 40 bucks. So 40 bucks to 43 bucks. If you ever see Intel go down there, might be worth throwing your hat in the ring there and trying to get some Intel there at that price. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen anytime soon. You do got a 200-day moving average to provide support at 72 bucks here. For those who like using moving averages, and I know the stock market guys like using moving averages, so I would think they would try to defend the 200-day moving average if it ever goes down to that level. But wow, I mean, look at this. We got a gap in the VRVP indicator. There's like no man's land. There's like no volume, no resistance here. If we ever lose like 80 bucks here on Intel, we could just drop right down to like 69, 68 bucks here. And that's mainly because, look at this. This gap in the VRVP indicator is reflecting this gap up in price because we saw Intel gap up here in April 23rd. The next trading session on Friday, April 24th, we went from like 66 bucks to like the next day we're at 82. And that's because they had a really good earnings report, I believe. That you see this green E here is your earnings report. They had an earnings surprise. They were expecting to lose 73 cents per share. They actually made 30 cents or 29 cents per share. They're expecting to only have a revenue of like 12.4 billion. They actually had 13.5 billion, a $1 billion surprise to the upside. So that was enough to launch that stock up to higher levels there. And that's showing here in the VRVP indicator. You got a gap here and you got a gap here in the price. So don't lose 80 bucks because you could drop down to like 69, 70 bucks real quick there on Intel. Just be careful with that. So maybe I'm thinking like stop loss should be 80 bucks here or 79, somewhere around that area. If you're looking for a long here on Intel. And I like the higher low here. This could be a higher low. Could be. We'll have to see how the next few days play out here. But this could be a higher low here compared to what we did here on July 29th. And then moving up to higher levels here, like I said, I would expect to take profit at 108, 109 bucks. That's where this 50 moving average is also at, somewhere around there, like 106.85 is where I see this green line's at. That's your 50-day moving average. So I can't blame you why you would want to take a long here on Intel. It makes sense to me. Let's see. Do we got momentum? So like, is momentum looking good here on the market cipher B? Momentum is to the downside. Red sell dot here. What's going on here with TikTok? I gotta do this little puzzle thing. Let them know I'm still here. Yes, I'm still here, and I'm a human. Why not just? I'm not just falling asleep here on the live. Oh my god! Come on, TikTok. We detected inactivity. They want me to do a little puzzle, make sure I'm still here and not falling asleep on you guys. I guess some people have done that on their live streams. Huh? They'll just like live and they'll just be like, or like, and it's just someone on a camera just falling asleep. What the hell? I'm doing this little puzzle thing and it's not registering here. All right, TikTok, can we leave this? Can we leave it alone? Are we good? Are we good? Are you good, bro? All right, you good. Oh my god, what happened here? Let me click a refresh here. What? I lost my intel now. Hey, what is going on here? Click the refresh button. Did I lose my internet? Are my TikTok guys still there? All right, I just got my internet back here. So I just lost my place there with Intel. Let's go back to Intel right there real quick. We were looking at momentum. Momentum was to the downside, red sell dot. I think you are getting a little bit ahead of yourself here. I would wait. I would love to see confirmation with like a green buy dot saying that, you know, you might be seeing a few good days ahead of you for your long there at Intel. Maybe you might be looking at the smaller time frames. Let's see, 4-hour time frame. Is there a green buy dot yet? Nope, not a green buy dot on the 4-hour. On the 1-hour time frame, you got green and reds showing up here, and the momentum is creeping up to the higher levels here. You're getting money flow going green though on the 1-hour time frame, so maybe you might have just been catching the bottom there on Intel, catching that potential higher low there. Looks like Intel had like a gap down, and its lowest price was like the first hour of trading session here on Monday. Ooh. And then what? Tuesday was a gap up, but then it sold off. Trying to see if there's any bullish divergence here. I'm not seeing really bullish divergence. At least not yet. Bullish divergence isn't showing up on the 1-hour chart here for Intel. So I think you might be getting a little bit ahead of yourself. Just monitor the price action tomorrow. If we get another sell-off, you might be able to get lower prices here on Intel. Maybe you can get the same price that you saw back here on July 29th at 81 bucks. And if it goes to 81 bucks, you can keep your stop loss really tight, put it at like $79, $78, because we know that, man, if Intel ever loses $79, $78, it could immediately go right down to $69 and lose all of that progress that it made throughout this past year. But I think you could try to long $81, see if it does come down there, and then put the stop loss really tight at $79, $78. Crypto Cruise says there's a green buy dot on the 6-hour. I don't have the 6 hours of time frame here. Let me go ahead and see if I can do 6-hour here. 6-hour, around the 6-hour. And you said there's a green buy dot on the 6-hour. I don't see it here on my market cipher B indicator here. I'm on the 6-hour time frame too. Four-hour, no green buy dot. 2-hour, there was a green buy dot on Monday afternoon. 1-hour, green buy dot, but then you got a red sell dot right before they closed the markets here on Tuesday. All right, Bitcoin. Let's go back to Bitcoin again. Did I get filled on my Bitcoin short that I was trying to do? I was trying to short Bitcoin at 79K. Looks like we only got up to like 78,898. Not really, about $100 away. Is Bitcoin climbing up? The 15-minute time frame looks like it's trying to do it. $15-minute time frame also showing momentum going to the upside too. So I like I said, I think we could short Bitcoin at 79K. And then that might be it. That might be a good area to short Bitcoin. I believe. At this moment, if you're trying to get into a trade right now, shorting Bitcoin, we might creep up to higher prices later on tonight. Might be a better entry at 79K or just a little bit above 79K. Stop loss really tight at like 79.6. $79.6 would put a stop loss right above this candle wick here. Because if we go above 79.6, then I mean, it probably means Bitcoin does want to go to higher prices at that point. And the trade gets invalidated. In my opinion, it gets invalidated at 79.6. Thank you guys for smashing the like button here. And let me see, how my YouTube guys doing over there? I mean, not my TikTok guys. What's going on here in TikTok world? Where's my pop-out chat? Where's my chat? Wait. Am I live? There you go. This is my pop-out chat. Let's see. Pop-out chat. There. Come on. Where is this thing? That's my live performance, not the pop-out chat. I want the pop-out chat. Oh, there it is. I hit it in the bottom here. Sorry about that. Cyber Doggies in the chat here. Need to know, did ask me, did I get into that Bitcoin short? Yeah, we just checked right now. I don't think it didn't go through yet. Here on AlphaX, it still says I have an open order here for the short and the long that I'm looking for on Bitcoin. So no trades, nothing yet. But like I said, I think we can short at 79K, and I think we can long at 77,300. Let me get back into the chat here on TikTok. Nasir says, you're more interested to short at 83,200. 83,200. That would be actually a higher high than what we did in May, right? Because in May, I thought we got up to like 82,800. Here on Coinbase, we got up to 82,814 on May 6th. I actually got another short ready to go at 82,500 is where I got a short ready to go on another account, another exchange. So yeah, I am trying to short that as well if I can. If I get filled, we'll see. I got the stop loss at like 83,500. So what did you say? Was 80,500 where you're trying to short at 83,200? Okay, so I was wondering if my stop loss is going to be your entry. Nasir says, lots of liquidity resting. It may wick up and lots of people will take profits too, you believe? Yeah, it makes sense that 82,000 and 83K is going to be where we get a lot of resistance for Bitcoin for sure. I think it makes sense. I think that might be where we end this rally if we're going to see the rally end. Although earlier today we did get up to like 81K, right? Or almost 82K. We got up to like 81,200. Yeah. Earlier today. Let's see. Nasir. Hello to you, Nasir. Cyberdoggy says you were expecting it to take that high last night. Yeah, the high from last night was 81,200. Is that what you expecting that to happen today? Yeah, looks like last night around 10 p.m. Eastern time, right after I ended my live stream last night, we saw Bitcoin spike up to 81,200. And it was looking really bullish. And then we got a little bit of a sell-off during the evening hours. I think that's, from what I've noticed, when the Americans, including myself, when we start going to bed, there's like no one left to buy Bitcoin at those high prices. The Asians are just waking up, but that doesn't mean that they're ready to buy Bitcoin at 81K. So usually, from what I noticed, at night, like after 1 o'clock is when we get sell-offs. After 1 a.m. Eastern time, we start seeing Bitcoin selling off. Let me see. We sold off here at 10 o'clock last night. Let's see about Sunday night, or I should say Monday morning. Yeah, we saw Bitcoin get up to like 78K, but then we started selling off a little bit during the evening hours here. But then look at this, like Friday, right? Or Thursday night. That's when Bitcoin spiked up to like 79,500, and then around like 4 or 5 a.m. it started selling off and doing a bull flag. So like I think the evening time is like, if you're looking for a short on Bitcoin, right before people go to bed here in America, it's usually like a good time to look for a short if you're scalp trading it. Let's see, like back here, that's Monday morning. Yeah, so Monday morning is, it seems like, yeah, in the morning times, that's when like Bitcoin starts catching bids from Wall Street. If Wall Street's bullish, you'll see Bitcoin climb up in the morning. And then when Wall Street is closed for business and everybody's going to bed, that's when it seems like Bitcoin starts, correcting itself and selling off. At least that's what I notice. Cyberdoggy says usually 9:30 New York sell-off market opens. Yeah, so like that, the thing about the market open is that sometimes if Wall Street is bullish on Bitcoin for that day, you might get like another pop up till like 11 a.m. or 12 o'clock, and then when they go out for lunch, that's when you might see the sell-off. You might see the blow-off top for that day. Nasir says, right now you're still bearish. I mean, it makes sense. Let's go back to the daily time frame. I mean, I'm less bearish than I was a week or 2 weeks ago. But the bears, their last bit of hope that they're holding on to is that if we don't go higher than what we did here in May at 82,800, whatever we're doing here could just be another lower high, right? And then what? Do we then make a lower low? Do we go below what we did here in the end of June when we were at like 58K? Are we going to see 57 or 52K? I got that marked on the chart here, 52K. For those who've been following me for these, past year now, we've been saying 52K and 42K. Those are levels to look for, because 52K is where we did a little bit of sideways trading action in February 2024. And then 42K is where we did some sideways trading action January and February 2024 and December 2023. Got a lot of support there. Bitcoin does drop down to that level, but I don't know if it's going to happen now. It's hard to say that's going to happen when you see Bitcoin at 78K. I never said that we were going to see 42K or whatever, but I was looking to long Bitcoin at 42K. I had a buy limit order and ready to go at 42K, because if it did drop down there, I think there would have been a bounce, but we didn't see that. Let's see. Cyberdoggy says that you think we break that high, too much money sitting there. Are you talking about like the liquidation heat map on CoinGlass. Let's see if what the liquidation is showing here. So this is the liquidation heat map for data coming off of Binance. This is a CoinGlass website. And yeah, there's liquidity here. About $49 million worth of shorts could get liquidated at 81,500. And there's just a little bit here at like 82,000. 82,400. There's about $22 million worth of shorts. To the downside, the longs could get liquidated if we come down to 77,800. There's about, how much? $55 million worth of longs that get liquidated. And then a little bit below that, 77,500 is about another 51 million. So, like, we're not that far away from, like, liquidating some longs, too. If they take it down there. But that's why I think, you know, we could come for this liquidity to the downside below 78K. And get a nice whoosh down to like 77K or the low 77K area. That's why I got 77,300 as my long. Because I think after that, after we come for this liquidity, we can get a bounce. Just an idea. Cyber Doggy says, you got XRP longs from 99 cents. You did that last week because I remember seeing XRP at 99 cents. I remember it was a big deal. Oh my God, XRP is below $1, but it didn't go that far down. You got in on longs on XRP last week, I'm assuming. Let's look at XRP real quick since you mentioned it. Yeah, before we got that blast off here on Wednesday, we saw XRP at like 98 cents. 90. See, I could probably pull this up here. It'll tell me the lows for the year. Yeah, we got down to like 98.7 on XRP. That was, I mean, if this is the low for the year or the bear market low, 98.7, you just saw it. That was August 17th, last Monday. The lowest price you get XRP this year. Oh, good for you, Cyberdog. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. That tells me you pay attention to the charts. You pay attention to crypto a lot. If you're able to get in XRP at 99 cents, that's a really damn good price. Let's see, was there bullish divergence on XRP? Was there a way to tell that we were going to see something here? If I look at the RSI indicator, we can see that low, obviously, here in June. Some higher lows here on the RSI. Some more higher lows here at 33. So kind of, sort of, yeah. You could kind of see there's a little bit of bullish divergence, yeah. Let me get rid of the VRVP. I'll even get rid of the moving averages here, but you can see this, right? Ever so slightly. We were making lower lows here on the price for XRP, but we made a higher low here on the RSI. That was your regular bullish divergence, and how did that play out? Like we would expect, with a bounce to the upside. So you got that regular bullish divergence that justified going long here on XRP. Kudos to you. I'm glad you were able to get in at that price. I'm happy for you, Cyberdoggy. Go make that money. Me, I could tell you guys, I actually bought some SUI and Solana on the stock market using was it G-Sol? No, G-SUI and B-Sol. I think I told that to my members here in the Discord. I said, hey guys, I actually got in and bought some crypto on the stock market. And I just said here earlier this afternoon, I was waiting for a little bit of a pullback. Bought some B-Sol and G-SUI today from my Roth IRA account. That's the Solana and SUI ETFs. I like G-SUI. It's a grayscale. They actually are able to stake SUI, and they put that money back into the ETF. And then B Sol is like that's the Solana ETF by I believe Bitwise, and they have one of the lowest fees you can get for having exposure to Solana. And this is this is a way for you guys. I don't know if you guys have money in the stock market, but this is a way for you to use that money in the stock market to get exposure to crypto. You can do the Solana ETF or the SUI ETF. They also have a Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETF. I think Bitcoin's. I would probably do IBIT for Bitcoin ETF because that one has the most liquidity and that's not going to go anywhere. That one will probably be around for a while. It's owned by BlackRock. They got the most money in that ETF out of all the other ETFs. So I would expect that one to be around for a while. And they got one of the lowest fees out there too. And then you could do like an Ethereum ETF. I think Grayscale has an ETF. ETHE is the Ethereum. That's how I can always remember. Like Ethereum, just add ETHE to it, and you get the Grayscale Ethereum ETF. That's how you can buy Ethereum with your stock market brokerage account. All right, guys, I think we got a pretty good live stream here, guys. Happy to see a good amount of people show up here on TikTok, even though TikTok was restricting my live stream again. And I'm happy to see you guys here on YouTube as well. I think we had a decent, good live stream here. We talked about XRP. We talked about the ETFs here. And of course, we talked about Bitcoin, trying to enter a long and a short. If you guys are interested in trading some relatively cheap, have like almost like no trading fees here, there is a decentralized exchange that I'm using here, and that's AlphaX. We talked about long and shorting here on there. But the fees here are 0. And there you go. Like I'll show you right now. The fees here on AlphaX are 0% for maker and taker for futures, and also 0% for spot trading. I know you guys are probably just starting your dollar cost averaging campaigns into buying some cheap crypto. Why pay more than you need to? You could actually add to your spot bags here for 0%. Eventually, they will mark it back up to like 0.1% for spot trading and 0.02% here for futures. Okay. But like, why not take advantage of this? I talked to the guy at AlphaX. I said, how long are they going to do that for? They probably like a month or two before it goes back to the normal fees here. But even the normal fees are relatively cheap as well. So I think if you guys are going to trade, if you're going to trade anyways, you might as well just start trading on AlphaX. And if you want to do that, for my TikTok guys, you're going to have to probably go over here to the Linktree link here. Click on that Meet Damon Linktree link in my bio. And then you'll have the link here to join AlphaX right there. No KYC. It's not going to cost you. I mean, it's not going to. They're not going to ask you for your ID. They're just going to ask for your phone number or your email. One of those to get started with opening up an account. Make sure you got my my promo code there. It's Damien. And there's also another code here. If you go over here to the Discord, for my Discord guys, you can actually get the referral link there as well for AlphaX, and that is here. And the code, if it's not Damien, you can put in FL0JVD. That's the other code to get for me to get the referral there for you guys. But yeah, if you guys, I think that's the best one. If you go onto the Meet Damon Linktree link, there's other exchanges here, but right now, I mean, you can't beat free unless they're gonna pay you to trade, right? But I highly doubt they're gonna pay you money to trade. But yeah, you can't beat free. Some other good ones here is Bitunix and WEEX, MEXC. MEXC's also got some low fees as well, but they do KYC. Bitunix doesn't do KYC, and WEEX doesn't do KYC. So I think those are some good ones there for my American and Canadians out there who are watching me. If you're not going to do Alpha X, I'm not sure why you want to do a Alpha X, but if you're not going to do Alpha X and you want to do some other exchanges here, Bitunix and WEEX probably be the good ones to get into, for my American guys here. And for my guys who aren't from America, if you're like in Europe or other side of the world, wherever you're at, you could probably do MEXC. MEXC does have some trading pairs that are for free trading. But right now, I think the best one is Alpha X right here at this moment. Until they start charging. Once they start charging, then I don't know. Then maybe the best one after that would probably be like WEEX and Bitunix for my American guys here. And then, of course, MEXC. But I have to go look at the fees again. Like, can compare it. Like, MEXC does have some of the cheapest fees here. And they might have competition here with Alpha X. Alpha X might actually be just as cheap as MEXC. So we'll have to see if that's the case. I'll have to double check that one of these days. But right now, I'm in no trades. I am waiting as I try to be a patient investor here. I'm waiting for 79K to short. And I'm looking to long at 77,300 if Bitcoin does drop a little bit further here. But I will be paying attention to the charts here. Because maybe I might not get 79K. Maybe I might have to enter in at 78,800 or 900 to get in on that short, and I could take it down to that 77,000 area that I'm looking for Bitcoin. We already talked about that earlier. Why I think we should see support at 77K. But I will be on the charts here all throughout tonight until I go to bed. And if you guys want to continue talking to me when I'm not live streaming, you got the Meet Damien Discord link for my TikTok guys. The Discord link's right there. Free to join, not going to cost you anything. If you're not able to click that because you're on your phone here, that Linktree link is also there to help you out. And the Meet Damien Discord link is right there, free to join. YouTube guys, the link should be in the description to this YouTube live stream that you're watching right now. Or you could just go over to the Meet Damien YouTube page. And you got the Linktree link right there. You click on that. That takes you over to the Meet Damien Linktree. You got the Discord server invite right there. Okay? But yeah, right there for my Meet Damien YouTube guys. You got the Linktree link there. It's also in the description to the channel as well. It should be there. If you just scroll down, there's that Discord link as well in the description to the channel. So it's in a bunch of places here. We got Geo Gems just came into the YouTube chat. Says KYC, AML, Clarity Act. It's a good idea. All right. Yeah, Clarity Act should make things more legit in crypto to get more money flowing into crypto from traditional finance into crypto. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this live stream. We'll try to finish off here by looking at Bitcoin. I am trying to get filled at 79K, and I got the stop loss at 79,600. We'll see if Bitcoin's able to do that here, but we'll watch the chart here for like the next few minutes here as I answer some last minute questions here, and we'll jam out to some music on the way out too. Take care, and I wish you guys the best of luck in whatever your trades you get into, and hats off to Cyber Doggy for getting into a long at 99 cents on XRP last week. That's pretty damn awesome in my opinion there. I'm happy for him too. Happy for all of us. Finally, crypto not going down anymore. It looks like it's trying to do some good things this past week here. All right, guys. I think that's my long outro there. Let's listen to some music on the way out. Take care, guys. Take care, guys and gals. I know there's some gals in here too. There's some girls here too, but take care, guys and girls. Ladies and gents.